Hey guys, Nick here. Today we're going to go through how to use cell formats to take basic plain looking data and make it pop a little more and make it easier to read and easier to understand. So to do that, we're going to be working with this small little put together report, of course made up data like always. And in this report we just have basic details like made up employee names, ages, salaries, hours worked, etc. And we're going to go through a few different things in terms of cell formatting to get this plain drab pretty difficult to follow, just because of difficult to follow for the eye type of data. And we're going to make it look just like what we've got over here. We're going to make it easy to understand what we're describing in this little report. We're going to make it easy to understand what's a currency versus what's an actual numerical value, and easy to understand where our time periods lie, as well as making the header's name pop more and then making it easier to follow from one row to another with a bunch of borders, right? So I'm going to try to break this video up into maybe 2, if not 3 pieces. And in these pieces, I'm going to try to follow this order. First, we're going to go through some font work, how to bold. Then we'll do some text wrapping, which might not be apparent off the get, but I'll show you guys how that helps immensely. Then we'll go through cell alignment, and then afterwards we'll move over to number formatting, starting specifically with currency formatting like you see here, and then formatting numbers, and then finally adding borders to try to make everything a little bit easier to read line from line, and you know how to distinguish headers versus the actual report values. But anyways, let's dive right into it. We're going to start first with the bold font. The bold font, you can see it right off the get right, it pops. You see it right here in the column headers, and even in the month descriptions. You can notice how much this font really pops, right, relative to what's here where we haven't done any formatting. So in order to get the cells to pop like that, we're going to start off by highlighting what we want to format, and then once we have it highlighted, we're going to right click, and this is where we're going to be doing most of our work today, under this format cells option. So after you right click, select format cells, and now that we're under format cells, I'm going to walk you through first these tabs, and then we'll get back to the bold font formatting. First, we're going to start in the numbers tab. So the numbers tab also contains different types of formatting. Here you'll find general formatting, which is the default in Excel. You can see right here the description of that type of formatting. It says no specific format. And then you can see the numbers format. This is one of the ones that I think I use the most. One of my favorite parts, adding a thousand separator, being able to define negative values either through a negative sign, just red text, parentheses, and red text. We've also got currencies. If you click on the symbol drop down, you can see all the different types of currencies that are available, right? You can again work with the number of decimal places. Currency by default already adds the thousands separator, so something to keep in mind. Then you've got accounting. I don't really work with this too much, to be honest. I feel like, or I found that when I've received files from coworkers and they've had accounting format applied to them, the formatting sometimes doesn't transfer, or there's like a glitch or something, and instead of having the cells be like a number you can manipulate, they end up being like text. So when you try to add numbers together, it doesn't let you, obviously, because Excel reads it as text and says, hey, we can't add text together, it's not possible, right? So that's why I try to stay away from the accounting and the currency formatting as much as possible, especially if I'm going to be circulating and people want to do their own manipulations, etc. But anyways, you've also got date formats. You can change the the location setting too of your time formatting, but I'll stick with the English for the US since that's where I'm located. Of course, multiple different ways you can play with it. Time, I've never used this, but it's there for you. Another big one, percentage, right? Fraction, scientific notation as well when you're dealing with really large numbers. You've got the text formatting, and then special. This is where you can find zip codes. So this is great if your position involves looking at competitor data or looking up competitors, or even if within your own data you want to, you want to be able to plot zip codes. You want to have that be like readily readable, right? So that's under special. Custom, I've never really messed around with this. I know a few coworkers that do. I try to stay away from it. For me, like I said, number formatting, percentage, general, and text. That's like the big ones for me. Special when I was in a position where I had to deal with zip codes. But after the numbers tab, you've also got the alignment, right? Alignment is where you're going to be able to change where the text sits within a cell. So if you look over here to salary, this is aligned towards the center when you're looking vertically, and towards the center when you're looking horizontally, right? Whereas where we haven't done any formatting yet, the default I believe is left aligned and to the bottom. So we'll be able to, or we will be in here later when we go through the alignment formatting, through the borders as well. Oh no, not here, not borders in this tab, but the text wrapping will be in this right here. All right, so we'll get to that. Next tab is the font tab. Here's where we don't really have anything in here other than the bold. So you can see if you want your font to be regular like it is here, or if you want it to be set into italics, excuse me, or if you want bold or bold and italics. You can also change the size around, change the color. These effects are pretty cool too. Strike through, right? So you've got a list, and once you complete something, you just mark it off, right? Subscript, superscript, that type of thing. Borders, this is where we're gonna work to make our dividing lines between our rows and columns to try to make the report a bit easier to read as well through that method. Fill is basically the color of the cell. Like if you look up here, these are filled with a light blue color, right? This is filled with like a tannish color. That's what fill is. It's the color of the cell. Protection, I guess you can hide or you can lock specific cells from being edited, but it says here you've got to use that. It's when you protect the sheet, so you can like technically protect the sheet and set up a password for it, but that's getting off topic. Anyways, those are the 4 tabs. So now that we've gone through them, let's start using them so we can go through our flow of bold font, text wrapping, the alignment, currencies, numbers, and then finally we're going to mess with borders. So I'm going to end this first part here. Leave this as specifically working through or going through the different tabs in the cell formatting, and then in the next video we'll work through this flow. So I'll catch you guys on part 2.